I'm Lou Heldman, Vice President for Strategic Communications. Welcome to the first day of the rest of our lives. And you're going to hear brief remarks from President John Bardo, Athletic Director Darron Boatright, Paige Hungate, the President-elect of Student Government, Jeff Longwell, the Mayor of Wichita, Dave Unruh, the Chair of the County Commissioners. There are also present other public officials and Gary Plummer, the CEO of the Wichita Chamber. They will all be available to answer your questions. President Bardo. And check out his shoes.
I don't wear these often, but it really seemed like the day for it, didn't it? It is really my pleasure to announce officially, though this is probably the worst kept secret in North America, that the American Athletic Conference has invited Wichita State to be its 12th basketball playing member, and this morning we accepted. We joined the conference July 1st. So we will be competing for championships in that conference in the next academic year. That's very important, I think, to both us and to the conference, that we move quickly and that we take advantage of the great opportunity that we have to be part of one of the best conferences in America. If you look at the schools in the American, they are all Research 1 or 2. By the way we classify nationally. Wichita State is a Research 2, and we are, in terms of funded research, according to National Science Foundation, right in the middle of the conference. So we fit. I care deeply about our student athletes, about their experiences, about what happens to them. I want them to compete for championships. I want them to be on the national stage because that's why they do what they do. Joining the American gives us that opportunity. But as important as that is, there are a lot of other elements to this that are hugely important and reasons to celebrate this day maybe a little differently than what people have historically thought about athletics. If you think about our university, we are a rising major research university. We are now in a conference with other major research universities. As people get to know each other, it opens up opportunities for growth. It opens up opportunities to learn from one another. It opens up opportunities for joint projects that affect the quality of experience for both our faculty and our students. And that's huge. That's huge. That's even more important than competing for championships. The other major piece to this that is so critical is think about what it does to Greater Wichita. You guys are kind of like Dallas and Houston and Memphis and Cincinnati. Okay, I'll take that. That ain't all that bad. And think about when people talk about who you're with. Who are your friends? Well, your friends are SMU and Tulsa and East Carolina and Cincinnati and Memphis and Temple and our great friends up in Connecticut. Think about what that means in terms of the stature of this metropolitan area and the stature of this institution. And yeah, oh, by the way, we'll play some pretty good athletics in there too. And one of my major goals for our programs is that we beat Connecticut's women's basketball team. Now we're talking, right? Now we're talking. So to all of you who have lived through this with us, thank you. For Darron Boatright and the countless hours of sleepless nights that he put through to get this to happen, thank you. To our friends at the Missouri Valley Conference, thank you for so many wonderful years, for the great competition, for being the kind of institutions that care about students, that care about quality. To Doug Elgin and your staff, you're tremendously professional. And one of the few things that I regret about leaving the Missouri Valley is that we won't get to spend time with those wonderful people. But at the end of the day, we are Wichita State. At the end of the day, we are competing for championships. And at the end of the day, we are a rising national university. Go Shocks!
Thank you, Dr. Bardo. What an exciting day for Wichita State University, for our athletic department, and for our city. I'm very proud to say, since my time sitting in the Director of Athletics chair, the President has told me to do one thing, and that was on day one, and that was to get us into the American Athletic Conference. With his vision and leadership of where this institution is going, which includes athletics, I consider him a visionary. I consider him a broad thinker, and I appreciate his ability to allow us to serve in our roles in the capacity that we do and dream big right along with him. And that's what we're doing. And I appreciate that vision, Dr. Bardo. It is mixed emotion today because we spent so much time and so many years happily in the Missouri Valley Conference. But it became evident the time had come for us to grow and us to continue to expand our horizons. So we embarked on this journey 15 months ago, and it's been a labor of love for a lot of us. I appreciate and want to thank publicly my staff. I see Reggie Klitsky in the background. The work he did with the numbers to seeing what was possible and how we could make things happen. So I appreciate that time, Reggie. I know it was much more than just you, but you led those efforts, and I thank you for that. But this is the beginning. This is the end of one phase and the beginning of another, and I hope it's a phase that lasts 75 years as well. But we're going to continue to push, and we're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to have the same expectations for our athletic department, our teams, and our student athletes and coaches as well as we always have. We're going to serve Wichita and the Wichitans proud. And we're going to ask them to continue to grow with us as well. This is a community effort. And yes, that means money. So let's get that out of the way. But I look forward to the challenges this creates. I thank my friends in the Missouri Valley Conference and all the member institutions. I've developed some fantastic relationships with other administrators, not just athletic directors, but other administrators across the board. I love my time working with Commissioner Elgin and Jack Watkins and Mike Kern, and I've really enjoyed that, and I look forward to meeting new folks and working with them and trying to serve this institution that you all make so great. So thank you, and I look forward to continue to work with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paige Hungate, and I'm the student body president-elect for this upcoming session. There's always so many exciting things happening on campus, and this is just something new to add to that list. The 60th session of Student Government Association is one that's incredibly dedicated to bringing the campus and community together and rallying our city behind our university. So I'd say that this move to the American Athletic Conference falls right in line with that. I'm confident that our city, our region, and our school are going to gain so much more respect for this move, and I'm also confident that our team will gain much more respect for the higher caliber of teams that we'll be playing. I believe that our community will have an increased interest in partaking in our athletic successes. I think that in the end, will just unite our students and our community together in a stronger way. So as always, it's a great day to be a Shocker.
Well, thank you for letting me be a part of this. It certainly is a great day. Let me share some other great shockers with you right quick. We have Levanta Williams that's with us here today, Pete Meitzner, Brian Fry, myself are all Wichita State shockers. We won't introduce James Clendenin. No, I'm kidding. James went to some other school, but it's okay. We still like him. How exciting for the city of Wichita. I'll get into that in a minute. I will tell you that I was visiting with my friends at KGSO this morning, and I told them I was coming for different reasons. I was told that the coach had been watching my game mature at the YMCA, and he found out I still had a year left of eligibility. And then I find out this news. It's okay too. Let's talk about that for a minute. So when we talk about why is it good for us, as we know, this program continues to shine. It's good for the players, it's good for the college, and it's good for the city of Wichita because we're going to get exposure like we've never gotten exposure before. And thanks to this coach who's the best coach on the planet, we get free exposure from the city of Wichita. How good is that? So thank you, President Bardo, for your vision. Thank you, Darron, for doing that one thing right. Now we can go on to number 2. And Coach Marshall, you're awesome. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners, I want to tell you that we are delighted to celebrate with you this great announcement today. And other commissioners that are here, as Commissioner Michael O'Donnell is here, and Commissioner David Dennis, who are all great supporters of Wichita State University. You know, we think that this is going to be an opportunity and also present challenges, but we're convinced that our student athletes, our academic and research side of the university are all up to the challenge to leverage this into something that's really terrific for our entire region. And this is a regional decision because it affects everything in South Central Kansas and in this part of our country. So we're pleased to be here, pleased to congratulate you, Dr. Bardo and Darron Boatright, for the great work you've done in making this happen. Sedgwick County is proud of our partnership with Wichita State University, and we look forward to going forward, enjoying lots of wins and lots of successes, and we are with you all the way. Go Shocks!
Well, if all of our speakers will come up, they'll be available to answer media questions. And Coach, I know that I didn't get this into your latest contract, but I'd appreciate if you'd come up too, because I know people would like to hear from you too. So, thank you. Have we answered all the questions, or are there any questions? Go ahead.
Dr. Bardo, with football, we talked about conferences and football. Does this have any effect on the future of football?
You know, football is one of those things, yeah, it does. I mean, in terms of timing, it certainly does. We have to digest now a really, really large nut, right? A friend of mine used to talk about going like a pig in a python, right? I mean, this is a really big pig to digest. For us, this is a major change. So we are not going to talk about football for a while. Doesn't mean it's dead. But it means that right now, if you recall, 6 months to a year ago, I said we really have to separate the two questions. Let's get this settled first, and then we'll go back and talk about the other. Well, the settlement of this was better than I could have hoped. It's really, I mean, this is as big a deal as we could have possibly had. And so now it's time for us to focus on it, make sure that all of our teams are competitive, make sure that we know how to get to all the schools, make sure that we are doing things the way that they intend, right? That's not as easy as it sounds. Make sure that we're doing the things that the American intends. This, you know, people talk about the P6, they talk about the P5 and then the P6. The American is the P6. I mean, so this is one of the really big conferences in America. And so my excitement and interest right now is let's do this right. And then let's come back and talk about other things later. But let's do this right. Let's do this well. Let's do it so that they are proud they took us in, that we're proud of what we're doing, and honestly that we win all the championships. Then we'll go talk about other things.
Other questions?
Can any of you elaborate even more on how this elevates the community? You touched a little bit on this as well as Dr. Bardo, on a national scene.
Well, the easy part of that equation is when we have a successful program that makes their way deep into the basketball tournament, Wichita obviously is elevated, and markets that we would have never been able to reach before. And so it introduces our city, our college, to new people that may not have had the chance to be introduced to our great city and our great university. But more importantly, it elevates our players so that more eyes are on them, I would have to think, Coach. And there's lots of more opportunities, both from where they would go next, and secondly, where we see new kids that get a chance to have eyes on our program. I'm not going to speak for the coach, although I try to at times on my Monday morning quarterbacking.
Well, I think that in response to the question, it's clear that this sort of exposure changes our image to the rest of the United States. If we talk in terms of economic development and what's happening along the I-35 corridor that Dr. Bardo talks about a lot of times, being visible, being exposed, and showing the talents and the resources we have will make a big difference in decisions by companies as they make decisions about economic development. And I think this is a real positive step for us.
Coach, just how exciting will it be to have teams like Cincinnati, UConn, and Memphis come to Coker Inn this winter?
Well, I think it'll be very exciting for the fans. It'll be gut-wrenching for the coaches. And that you're talking about programs that have won national championships, multiple national championships in UConn and Cincinnati, and hope I'm not leaving out anyone, and the coaches like Tubby Smith at Memphis who have won national championships. And you're going to be playing against NBA guys, bigger, more athletic guys than we've been seeing on a regular basis in the Valley. And we'll have to step up our game. So it should be, the entertainment value should be through the roof, and we're bringing in some of the finest athletic teams in the country, some of the finest academic institutions in the country and that's who we're rubbing shoulders with now. So our work is cut out for us to continue doing what we've been doing, and that's winning it with integrity and doing it in a first-class way, and hopefully continuing to get in that NCAA tournament and advance with special young people.
Playing those type of teams, will that help your seeding, do you think, moving forward this NCAA tournament?
I cannot, nor will I attempt to try to speak for the people on the selection committee. I think that would be foolish on my part. So that'll be up to them, I guess.
Well, as far as a recruiting tool, how do you think this will kind of boost that a little bit for your program?
Well, we mentioned, the cities that we are going to be traveling into and the markets that we'll be in now. We're talking about all the way down to Houston and Dallas and Tulsa, moving up towards I-35, and then you head a little bit east, Memphis and Cincinnati and Tulane, and then you've got the 2 schools in Florida and the 2 schools in the Northeast as well as East Carolina. So I just think that those markets we can now tap into a little more and promise the young people that we're recruiting, not only will they get a degree, and they'll win and get a chance to display their talents in the NCAA tournament, but they'll have an opportunity to play at home. So,
could you elaborate a little bit on the reaction of your players and your staff?
We haven't really gotten into it with them. I was kind of told not to talk about it. I wasn't apprised of every step along the way, but at the same time I knew it was making progress, and I was told that loose lips sink ships, so I'm excited that it's come to fruition, and now our players will be, I mean, they want to play, as you can tell, when we get an opportunity to play the teams that are the best in the country, they rise to the occasion, and they want to play the best. They want to compete against the best because they ultimately want to be the best. So this will be a welcome change for us. Yes.
Since there's 12 teams, will we be able to play one-on-one each year, or will there be off years where you play here and then play there? And then
Sam, what I've been told is to maintain an 18 games schedule, and Darren could probably answer this better, but you play 7 teams twice, and then the remaining 4 teams once.
And Sam, we're going to check your media credentials at the end. Are there any other media questions? And Coach did not say lose lips, sink ships.
Right.
Loose.
Dr. Bardo, can you explain to us what you meant by Research 1 and 2? What
Yeah.
exactly?
Yeah, there is a federal ranking, actually, that comes out the Carnegie Commission ranking of what universities do in generic mission. And there's, I don't know, 6 or 8, whatever it is, numbers that they use. And it has to do with the research you do, how many doctorates you give, how big you are. There's a lot of issues in there. A Research 1 is a university that has a lot of research that is funded by extramural sources and that give a lot of PhDs and a lot of other doctorates. A Research 2 is one that has less money funded by extramural sources, but that, and gives a lot of doctorates, but doesn't give as many. And there's a breaking point in there, I'm sorry, I just don't remember off the top of my head what it is. But it matters. It matters what mission you're in, because it matters on how you deploy your resources, right? So in other words, if I am at what is called a regional university, right, I'm going to deploy my resources differently than if I'm at a major research university. I'm going to hire different kind of faculty, I'm going to have different kind of teaching loads, different research expectations. And so what we are now in is a conference where everybody is doing something like we're doing. Now, our specialties will be different than their specialties, but they're all trying to do something like we're doing, so we can learn from each other. We can integrate with each other in a much better way. So it's not just a matter that we play each other, it's a matter that we actually have a whole lot in common academically as well.
Okay, so everyone here will be available for questions afterward. I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for the great spirit
Indeed.
That you all brought. One more?
I was saying, Darren, how much of a factor was it with the underseeding of men's basketball over the last several years to want to join a nice conference like the American?
Nothing to do with it whatsoever. I think that speaking as a university and a department is most important, but when you talk about our men's basketball program, it deserved this. Had nothing to do with seeding. This started the year after we were a #1 seed. So, I mean, hopefully the hope is that this will help and alleviate the pressure that the coach goes through because of the type program that we have. But as far as did this have anything to do with seating appropriately or not, no, it had nothing to do with it.
Thank you very much.